This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first Mid-Dell Coaches Show of the year. We're very happy to bring it back. It's been 4 years, and we're excited to have it for you right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. My name's Jordan Ray. Happy to be joined by the Del City football crew. We're going to talk Del City football here in a moment, but I want to let you know that we're very happy to have the Mid-Dell Coaches Show throughout this first semester at Buffalo Wild Wings here in Del City. A few promotions going on with Buffalo Wild Wings we want to let you know about. Every Tuesday is your choice for BOGO. That means buy one, get one. For example, traditional BOGO 50% off boneless wings, and then, or that's traditional wings, I'm sorry, and then boneless wings are free. Buy one, get one. So that's going on Tuesday, so be sure to mark your calendar for next Tuesday. And then tomorrow and every Thursday is BOGO boneless. Again, buy one, get one free. And we also want to let you know that we're going to introduce again Bullet Bourbon Barbecue and the return of hot barbecue and sauce, those different types of sauces. They're very popular with a lot of the Buffalo Wild Wing patrons, and they're coming back. Come celebrate the year of the sauce with us, Buffalo Wild Wings, right here in Del City. We also want to thank another sponsor for the Mid-Dell Coaches Show. That is Keyline Productions. Their logo is creating your custom needs. We want to thank Rakita Kearney, as she is a Del City parent. She also has a very good business going on here. Some of the services that they provide are custom merchandise, custom logos, flyers, and websites. The plan for this show is for every Wednesday to talk different Mid-Dell sports going on. Of course, during the fall, football will be a constant, but we'll have other sports on as well, as we'll talk about different sports for Del City, Midwest City, and Carl Albert. But since football is just a couple days away, this episode will be devoted entirely to football. And I'm very happy to be joined by Del City head coach, Coach Jones. Coach Jones, thank you for being our first guest on here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
All right. You had a scrimmage last week at Moore. What were the highs and lows of that?
Well, you know, anytime you have a scrimmage and anytime you have a chance to get out there with the team for the first time, it was a good opportunity for us to mesh together. It's a good opportunity to see where we're at conditioning-wise as well and get in playing shape. You know, and Moore's a 6A1 team. They were very big and they were very physical. And it gave us a chance to see where we're at there. So we feel like we made the corrections that we needed to, going back and watching the film from the scrimmage at Moore, and we're excited about getting out there this week against Choctaw.
Okay, so let's take a look back here for a bit. This is your third year as the Del City head coach.
Yes, sir.
And you had two really good years the previous two seasons.
Yes,
but
sir.
You came up a little short of the semifinals. And last year, I mean, you gave Carl Albert the toughest challenge of any of their playoff opponents. So it just was a tough draw that you had to play them in round two.
Yes.
How does that impact what you tell the team? Does it impact it at all when you prepare them for this season?
Well, obviously, when you don't end on top, when you have a program like we have and you don't win a state championship, you're going to be disappointed. You know, but we're not focused on that anymore. We moved ahead. You got new players. You have a new team. You have a new foundation. But we still have our standard, and our standard is CDEP, and our standard is we control what we can control. We can't control that playoff game anymore. The next thing we can control is what we're doing on a daily basis at practice, what we're doing in the classroom, and how we are as a person and have a good character. So that's what we've been focusing on, and that's our strength of our program. And I'm excited to see our guys get out there on Friday and use their character traits that we've been working on. And being in the off season, you know, you obviously are going to use those points of how you ended up short against Carl Albert, but you talk about the things, how did you get there? The details, not being disciplined in certain areas, not only on the field, but even in the classroom, in the locker room, even at home at times. So we've really been working on some of those details and being disciplined. And we're excited to see if everything we've been working on is going to show out this year.
All right, and then some interesting developments took place for you over the spring, where you had 3 move-ins who were Division I players.
Yes, sir.
I know with move-ins can come maybe some controversy about where they came from.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about what it meant that they wanted to come to Del City, and what that meant to you and how it came about.
Well, anytime in sports, regardless of what level it's on, and you can see that in NBA, NFL, even in collegiate league now with the transfer portal, players are going to go to good programs that they have a chance to win, that they have a chance to be able to go play collegiate football in a program that's going to work them not only on the field but in their personal lives and in their character. And I think the 3 young men that moved in, they were really impressed with our program. They were impressed with our players. They were impressed with how I carried myself and our coaching staff. And that's a testament of what we've been doing and how we've been working. So it's a privilege to have them be here, and I'm very honored for that.
All right, we're going to talk to one of those players here in a moment.
Yes, sir.
In fact, we'll talk about him while he's really close by. That's River Warren, quarterback. According to the internet, how reliable that can be, he has offers from Arkansas State, Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan, Florida Atlantic, Marshall, Old Dominion, Toledo. So that's pretty good.
Absolutely.
And what have you seen in the time you have it in practice that you really like? And is he going to be? It would seem he's going to be a different type of player, maybe than was it Virgil Yates or Godwin from the last couple of years? Maybe more throwing, less running, or how do you see that?
Well, it first starts with his character. I keep mentioning character, but I'm pretty high on that. But when River got here, he didn't do a lot of talking. He really led with his actions and how his work ethic as well. And he jumped right in, and he was a leader from the first day. And the kids really draw to him like a magnet because they saw his work ethic. They saw how he carried himself. They saw how he stayed afterwards and got extra lifts. And the time he spends in the film room and the time he gets them into the film room, and then how he carries himself in academics as well. So as far as being on the field, I think he could do both. I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks, not only in Oklahoma, but probably in the country. He's 6'4", he's 190, he can run. He's been a 2-year starter. You can't replace it. The only way you can get experience is with experience, and to be able to play on the level he has and play in the big games that he has experience. And I think he's going to be able to show people that he can throw the ball, but he has a set of legs too. So I think he's going to show people that you have to respect both sides of that. And I think they're also going to see how he can lead a team and how he can get everyone to be on the same page and help everyone come over those adverse situations that come through in the games. But I'm excited to see him get out there. I'm excited to see him lead our team this year.
And, of course, you coached against him then a couple years ago in the Bishop McGinnis game.
Oh, absolutely. I coached against him in sophomore, and that game went into overtime. He made some great throws then, so it's kind of a surreal feeling to be able to see him on my side of things.
How's the backup quarterback situation look then?
We have George Guzman. He's a senior. He's been in the mix for the quarterback battle for 3 years now, and unfortunately he has lost that battle to 3 great quarterbacks. Virgil was district MVP. Yep. Dede Godwin, he was the Kalen Godwin. He was the quarterback of the year, district quarterback of the year. So he's handling that well. He's taking the backup duties because you always have to be ready. Things happen. And River played a good role in that too, mentoring him and helping him get through that. Those emotions that come with not winning that position. So George Gooseby, and then we have a sophomore, Braylon Lassner, very talented. The future's bright for him. He has the opportunity to work on these River and let River mentor him and kind of watch River and watch his body language, watch how he carries himself in the game, and watch how he plays the quarterback position. So I think that's going to help him out in the long run as well.
I remember calling a couple of his baseball games.
Yes, sir.
And then you got the Fields cousins. So start with Rodney. He's committed to Oklahoma State. He's going to be a running back. When you have someone of that caliber, you like to mix up the running back position. Yeah. But is he someone that might be more of a workhorse, or you still plan to give other guys a lot of handoffs?
Well, just starting with Rodney, Rodney's very talented. He's one of the fastest players that I've seen personally from 1 to 5 yards. His explosion, his burst is one of a kind. So just that's a testament to him being committed to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State saw that. That was his first offer, and he had not offered since. Maybe that's the commitment, but the players on the team know it. The coaches know it. We see it in practice. I'm excited for the rest of the state to really see the talent that he is. I'll put him in the likes of Jacoby, Josh Scobie, and Benny Butler, Mike Woods, that tradition in that long run, even Foreman from back in the 80s, that long run of Del City running backs. And speaking of that, we have a running back who was, ranked the third best running back in the state, and he's made a move to slot receiver, Braden Adama. So you still have him on the team as well, and then you still have Aaron Carter and Rickland Holmes. Those two guys are Division I football players, so you don't want to put too much on Rodney. Of course he's going to get more of a load than he has in the past because he won't be playing defense. But my mindset is I like to rotate running backs. I like to keep running backs fresh for the duration of that long season and have them fresh going into the playoffs.
And then his cousin, LaDainian.
Yes,
Just
sir.
committed to TCU.
Yes, sir.
So, and do you plan on playing him a lot both ways?
Absolutely. He's going to start both ways. We go both ways. The only person that don't go both ways is River. I mean, our whole team goes both ways. They're going to at least practice both ways. I think, in high school, especially in the 5A level, you don't have the depth to try to go one way. You want to be able to build depth, and it helps your practice function better. But, yeah, he'll be playing receiver and defensive back, cornerback. And, honestly, I think he's just as good as receiver as he is at cornerback. So he has a couple of Division I offers at receiver, and, he's committed to TCU as a cornerback. So that kind of shows the skill set and kind of ability he has.
And how's that offensive line look? I mean, I know that if they don't do their job, no one else can really do theirs. So.
Absolutely, and that's what we preach to them. I'm very excited about them. They're a very athletic group. They're still growing and meshing together, but they're all returning starters. All five of them are returning starters, and that's the first time since I've been at Del City that we had that. I think the longer you stay in the program, the longer you can get kids in the weight room, the longer you can kind of build that lineman mentality within those big boys. And I think this will be the toughest group. I think this will be the group that can show what our program can be when we mix in those linemen with the skill kids.
And then front seven on defense. I know you got replacing a stud in Jaden Foreman.
Yep.
And I know you had a big-time defensive line 2 years ago with David Stone and Hampton. And but what are some of the name a couple guys that think will be really good in their new roles, or maybe returning to their roles but still improved?
Absolutely. And you keep mentioning names years and after years. You can even go back to Anthony Goodlow. Del City's always going to have good linemen. We're always going to have good linebackers, and we're going to have secondary guys that can cover. A couple guys, Taven Johnson, he's coming back. He's a returning starter. He's going to be a junior. He had 10 sacks last year. We got Charvis Kelly. His dad is the defensive coordinator. He's going to be our other defensive end. And you got Biliami Lewis, who's here as well with us. We'll see him later on. He's going to be up front. You got Quaylen Goodman. That's going to play some defensive tackles as well. We got Richard Castillo. He's a young junior because I say he didn't play. He missed half of the year last year, but, he's 6'3", 260. And the thing I love about that defensive line is everybody's over 6'2", everybody's over 220. So anytime you can get size like that, especially on the 5A level, I think it's going to really help you out in the trenches. And with the linebackers, I think we probably got the fastest linebacker group in the state. You got Rickland Holmes. He's the number one linebacker in his class, in the 2026 class. He's 5'10", 210 pounds, and he ran the 4.5 at the Oklahoma State camp, so that kind of shows what he has. And then you got Aaron Carter, who is 6'3", 205, and he's a 3-year starter. We moved him to Mike Backer, so he's kind of that middle of the defense, kind of that leader. He's a 4.6 speed guy too. So anytime you have speed like that, it's going to really pay dividends to what you need. And then you got Jashawn McAllister. He's our nickel back. He can play safety or he can play a little bit of linebacker, so he does a little bit of both. But we're real athletic, we're fast, and those guys are going to get out the quarterback, and you mix that with the size we got up front, it's going to be pretty scary for quarterbacks and running backs this year.
So you got Fields at one corner, the rest of your secondary, I assume they're probably also very fast.
Yeah, I mean, you got DeMar Turner. He's a returning starter as well. He's a 4-5 kid. He's a track kid as well. You got Braden Adama. He was on our state champion 4x1 relay. He was our third leg, so he's a returning starter as well. He started for 3 years, so we got a relay team back there, so it's going to be pretty dangerous.
Well, I mean, you mentioned names. Another name, Nigel Thomas, will be tough to replace, but sounds like you got some guys for it.
Absolutely.
Maybe the toughest guy you have to replace from last year, Stanley Johnson.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Well, how's that looking at kicker and punter?
It's a work in progress. Anytime you have a collegiate kicker and you have someone who, in my opinion, was the best kicker in the history of the school, anytime you replace a 3-year starter, it's going to be difficult. But we got a young kid. He's a sophomore. He's a brother of Braylon Jaden Adama, and we have a young kid, Ralph. He's a soccer kid that came out. So it's kind of a work in process. Actually, we're going to have Rickland Holmes do kickoffs for us. So we don't have to worry about somebody breaking loose because at least we'll be able to get them tackled. But it's a work in progress, and I'm going to trust in those guys. And right now their focus point is let's make extra points because I got a feeling we're going to score a lot of touchdowns.
All right, let's get some more. Let's talk to some of the players here,
Yes,
Coach.
sir.
If you could tell us who you brought with you.
Okay, just start here. We got outside of me, I got Braden Adama. He plays free safety, slot receiver, and running back for us. He's a 3-year starter, a captain. He's everything that you want in a kid. Great character, great attitude, takes the classroom serious, and he's been leading us for 3 years. Then we got River Warren, the leader of our team, quarterback. One of the biggest blessings Dale City has had in a while, not only for football, just for community relations and things like that. So I'm excited about both of them. River's also a captain as well. I'm excited about both of them. I'm excited that they get in this position and be in this atmosphere their senior year because they definitely deserve it.
All right, if you guys could make sure your mic is close to your mouth when you get going, talking to the two players here. We'll start with River. Okay, River, when you decided that you're going to leave McGinnis, what made you want to come to Dale City?
Well, at McGinnis, I was looking to graduate early, and they wouldn't allow me to do that. So I had to make a decision for myself, and I thought it was the best decision to graduate early. And I was looking around, and I thought that Dale City looked like the best program for me. So,
all right, you got some pretty good college options. When are you going to decide where you're going to go play college ball?
I'm not sure yet. I'm really focused on the season, so we'll see how the season goes and go from there.
Well, if you want to announce on here, you're more than welcome to. Just so you know that. Okay. All right, is it Braylon?
No, sir.
Correct. Okay, so you've been in this program for a while now.
No, sir.
And now you're a senior. Are you more vocal now with the players? Are you a lot more comfortable as well?
Yes, sir. I talk a little more than I used to. I used to be a little quieter, but I'm starting to be more vocal, be a leader. So.
You like playing offense or defense better?
Defense.
Defense.
Simple.
Okay. You want to go hit some people?
Yeah, sir.
All right. And River, talk about the chemistry you're developing with your receivers. The Fields being one of them, but I know you got plenty others. He's going to be a slot receiver. So, how's the chemistry going with the new core for you?
Yeah, the chemistry's been going great. These guys are really workers, so it's great to get out after practice and throw the ball with them, and it's kind of been easy to get that chemistry because of how much we've been throwing the ball after practice on the weekends, stuff like that, and yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a more relaxed question, I guess, to all you guys. I'll start with you, Coach Jones. Coach Jones, what is your second favorite sport? And I wrote this down. I took a guess to what it is.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I'm right.
I'm pretty sure you're going to know what it is.
Okay, you're probably right. But
Yep.
what is it?
Track.
Okay. I put basketball. I
No,
wasn't
sir.
thinking track.
I'm a track guy.
You're a track coach.
I think
should've known
football
better.
and track go hand in hand.
Yep.
Obviously, you can see, we're a pretty fast team, and one of my rules is if you play football, you run track. You're going to be on the track team. So track, I would say track's my favorite. Second favorite.
River, what's your favorite?
Baseball.
Baseball. Did you play for McGinnis?
I did not, but
Okay.
I played all through junior high and everything, and stopped when I went to McGinnis. So
Okay. You got a favorite major league team?
I do. The Pirates.
Nice.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Never
Wow,
would have
that's-
thought of that.
Me either.
Okay. Well, maybe one day they'll get back to the playoffs. All right. Braylon, what about you?
Track. Simple.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're with Coach Jones 24/7, basically.
Yes, sir.
See,
Okay. And what do you guys think about Choctaw coming up? 2 days.
Well, this is our second year playing them. I think they're athletic. I think they're big. They're fast. Anytime you played in 2 state championships in 3 years, that kind of shows what kind of program you have. But honestly, we hadn't really focused on them outside the scheme because our motto is we got to focus on what we can control, and that's us and how we practice and how we get after it. But I think it's going to be a tough challenge. I think they're one of the top teams in 6A too, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to see where we're at as a program, physicality-wise and mentally-wise, and how we can handle adversity and playing against a great team early on. That's kind of why I scheduled Choctaw. I'm real big and wanting to be the king of the area where you're at. I wish, hopefully we can get back to playing Carl Albert. We played Midwest City and we played Choctaw. And I want to let people know that we own this area, and the only way to do that is by playing them. And you got to take a chance of losing when you do that, but we're up for the challenge, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, you mentioned Carl Albert. Of course, there's going to be an opening next year for you because Midwest City will be in your district again.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. That's for next year. River, what do you think about Choctaw?
Yeah, you know, I've played in a lot of big games before, and this is no doubt a big game. But in terms of Choctaw, you know, it's another game for me. Preparation is all the same. You know, obviously they're a great program, but it's really another game for me.
All right, Braylon?
Honestly, I think they're a good football team, a good program. I believe if we can control, we'll be okay.
All right, so Braylon, we're going to have you switch or give a headset to a third player here that came. And so
Yami Lewis.
give a little bit of time
Yes, sir.
for this trade-off here. All right, a bit bigger of a player here. So
Absolutely. The anchor of the defense. Defense and offense.
And how do you say your first name?
Billy Ami.
Billy Ami? Okay. And where on the offensive line do you play?
Old tackle.
Right or left, or it just depends?
Left.
Left. Oh, left. That's important for a right-handed quarterback.
Oh,
so River
absolutely.
must like you.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And now defense, where do you play?
Nose and D tackle.
Okay. All right. So right in the middle there. How do you feel like you're doing athletic-wise then? I mean, someone like you, you know, you need to make sure you have put on some weight, put on some muscle. If you know, usually that comes naturally when you're 17, 18 anyway, but for you guys, you probably have to be more intentional about it, I would think. So how are you doing with that?
Yeah, that's what my summer was about. I knew I was gonna have to go both ways, so that's why I worked hard this summer and prepared myself for this situation.
Yeah, because you got to be both well-conditioned and strong.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely that.
What else do you like about him, having him out there?
Well, you know, Viliami, you know, his freshman and part of his sophomore year, you know, he was struggling in the classroom, but he always had talent. You know, he had brothers that came through the program, actually three brothers. All three started for us at one point. He really made a drastic change, and he's been passing his classes for 2.5 years. He's put on anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds of muscle. And you can ask River, you can ask Braylon. He's one of the hardest workers in the program. You know, he goes both ways. And you wouldn't be able to tell it when we get to conditioning. He's always in the front of the conditioning with the old bigger guys. So I'm excited to see him go out there. I'm excited to see and show the state that he's one of the most underrated defensive linemen and offensive linemen in the state. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table.
All right,
we got some wings
we want you
coming
guys
on
to
over here.
sample something here. We got
Oh, yeah.
you know, Magic Crystal, who made this show possible.
Sure.
Very thankful here.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, take it. Brandon, if you want to come into the camera shot real quick, people will understand if you want to go get a wing here. Definitely want some napkins as well.
Hot? Wow.
And definitely might want your water.
Pretty hot, boy. Pretty good.
Hot but good. All right, we got to see what the quarterback thinks.
Don't burn your lips now. We got a game.
That's right, because you got to talk.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Lewis, what do you think? Oh, he likes
Hard.
it. All right. You guys keep digging in. Coach Jones, also, I know you had to replace Coach Madonna.
Yes, sir.
So, and I don't know. Usually, there's always a couple new coaches each year. So, any new coaches for you besides just replacing him?
Yeah, I mean, starting with Coach Madonna's position, the office.
Yeah, I understand. You had to
Sorry.
Yeah.
Starting with Coach Madonna's position, the offensive coordinator position, we replaced him with our quarterback coach, Coach McGuire. He had been here previously for 2 years. Did a great
Baseball
job.
coach.
Yeah, head baseball coach. Did an awesome job. You could tell by his play of the quarterback the last 2 years with Virgil Yates and the Kalen Godwin. First year coordinator. I think we're going to see a different style of offense. It's the same system, but I think the play calling will be a little bit different because Coach Madonna was the offensive line guy, and Coach McGuire actually started quarterback for Middle City. So I think you'll see a little bit different offense in the way he calls it and the way he kind of spread things out a little bit more and more of attack mode in the passing game. And obviously it helps having River, especially with your first year as a coordinator. And then we'll have Travis Kelly stepping over for the defensive coordinator position. I won't be calling the defense this year. I'm excited about that because it's going to give me an opportunity to be a head coach and kind of manage the game, manage the program, let me see the game from different aspects. So I'm excited about that. We had a couple new coaches as well. We got 2 new offensive line coaches. Keith Beckenridge, he actually coached linebackers at Midwest City last year. He's coming over and coaching our offensive line. We have Terry Johnson. He's going to coach the offensive line as well. Then we have Stanley Dawkins. He'll be coaching the defensive line. And then we have Kenneth Blair He used to be the head coach at Southeast, and he coached at Douglas last year. He'll be coming over and helping us with our receivers. So anytime you have the program we have, we feel like we can fill in coaches, we can fill in players. That's part of the standard that we have. So we're excited to get those guys and have them part of the brotherhood, and excited to see what we're going to be able to do this year with them.
All right, we know you guys back. This was great. At some point,
Absolutely.
The players and Coach Jones, hopefully you'll be back
yes,
some
sir.
frequency.
Absolutely.
And I want to let you guys know, all the Del City football games, that includes the playoffs, we expect them to be hosting a playoff game and more, will be on the Oklahoma Sports Network starting this Friday when they host Choctaw. John Kilty, and they'll be reunited with Colton Fleetwood, and they'll bring you the action at Choctaw. Pregame starts at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. And we also want to take this time real quick to thank the Del City sponsors, the live sponsors for Del City football. Countdown to kickoff, American Legion here in Del City. Coin toss, Sunny Lane United Methodist Church, who's right by Del City High School. Instant replay, Triple Elite is back. We really appreciate them. They've been doing with us for several years. Red Plains Plumbing is the kickoff sponsor, and they also are running their commercials with us, so we really thank them a lot. You'll see one of their commercials in a second. We hope that you give them their business. Casa Juanito, a Mexican food restaurant in Del City, is a scoring recap sponsor. Malone's Property Management is the halftime sponsor. And quarter sponsors, of course, Buffalo Wild Wings. We want to thank them for also helping out with Del City football. Bobby Lewis Insurance and Tinker Federal Credit Union. So thank those guys a lot for how they help put Del City football on the air. All right. We hope to have Midwest City Bomber football coming up in a few. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the Mid-Del Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
All right, welcome back to the Mid-Del Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. And, of course, we want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings here in Del City for hosting it. And we also want to thank Keyline Productions for being one of our sponsors. All right, we're going to talk real quick about some things going on with Buffalo Wild Wings. Just to remind you, Tuesday is your choice BOGO, meaning buy one, get one. That includes traditional boneless or traditional wings, 50% off. And boneless wings are free. Buy one, get one. Tomorrow and every Thursday is BOGO Boneless. So another opportunity to get boneless wings for free, buy one, get one free. Every Thursday they are going to bring back their Bullet Bourbon Barbecue, excuse me, and the return of hot barbecue and sauce is what they call it. And then come celebrate the year of the sauce with us. And we want to thank Keyline Productions, creating your custom media needs, and Rakita Kearney for sponsoring that. And I believe she helped the Midwest City Quarterback Club, so we definitely appreciate her for sponsoring this show. And speaking of Midwest City, we're happy to be joined by Midwest City head coach Jarrell Hall. All right, Coach, glad you guys could get here and be here for our first show. One of the things I want to ask you about first, and I remember you telling us in May that you had more players come out than you had in recent years. And then one of our sponsors for Midwest City Football and the Oklahoma Sports Network, Scott Young, a former Midwest City grad, he even made that observation to me when he was riding his bike by practice over the spring. Talk about the significance of that and how it's maybe be helping you depth-wise this year.
Well, I mean, more numbers mean more bodies, more people to participate in practice, and more guys to get better, more guys to influence. So, you know, nobody's ever going to be upset about having more guys out. Now, we need them going in the right direction. I mean, we don't want to carry dead weight, and we don't see any out there. I mean, everybody's got to produce. And, you know, at Midwest City High School, everything's pretty much everybody does what everybody else does. And so the numbers are great because that means football's still alive and well in Midwest City.
Very good. And then you had a scrimmage. You get to have two scrimmages. We'll talk about the next one in a moment. But you had a scrimmage last Thursday, and it was against 6A teams, Norman North and Edmond North. What do you think? What were some highs from that scrimmage? Maybe a couple things you need to tweak a bit.
I mean, we got to go against someone else, so that's a plus. And then a second plus for me is no injuries. Nothing that's sustained. Nobody's going to miss the season because of what happened on last Thursday. So, and then we got a chance to get better. Going to get someone different makes us better. And Norman North is a quality team, and then Edmond North, they got a new coach this year, and he's done some amazing things with them. And you know, I think Coach Ruff did some good things with them. But got a chance to flex our muscles. In the inter squad or rapid phase time, I thought we produced and got better on some things, and then we had a 20-minute non-time scrimmage. We ended up losing to North 6-0, but you know, we threw a touchdown pass with 13 seconds left with a running clock and had a holding call. So, you know, it's not a game, but you know, we know where we stand, and so there's things we can do to improve. But you know, we finished the game with an outstanding drive to say, you know, we're in this thing, and you know, I truly believe that we won the game.
Yeah.
But the score didn't indicate that, and then we got to play some defense, and you know, when then North loses to Edmond North. And then we beat Edmond North, in the final scrimmage. So our final 20-minute play series. So it was good for us. We will improve off of it because it gives some good film to look at. And we know where we missed. I mean, don't expect perfection, but we expect improvement.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. And When we look back at last year, you go undefeated in district, being in 5A District 1 for the first time. Now, the couple of the losses you had, I mean, it was to Carl Albert, that was kind of a coming out party to Xavier Robinson, and then you had to deal with Piedmont's running attack in the snow. But when you have games like that take place, is there something, is there more of an emphasis put on running defending the run after that, or is it the same as, you know?
Well, when you look at the film as a coach, you're going to say guys didn't do their job. I mean, when we did our job, we stopped the run and we did what we needed to do defensively. Offensively, they did what they did all day. They did what they were supposed to do. We just didn't get it done on our side. But, you know, when you look at the film, you see, well, this guy was not playing his position. It's not what he's been taught. He's being selfish, trying to make a play when he's not designed to make a play. He's designed to take care of a gap. So you reevaluate it, and we make sure we do a better job of teaching the Barmer way on being a team, because an individual will lose a game. He'll never win a game. But an individual will definitely lose you a game if he's not doing his job, because that breaks the defense down. So that's what we worked on. I mean, and that's what we'll continue to work on. I mean, it's about improving. No one will be a worse critic of a coach than a coach.
Right. So this is a new era where DJ Irvin finally is no longer a high school quarterback. He's over at UNLV. So now you got to break in a new quarterback. We're about to talk to him in a couple minutes here. Kenny Colston. What have you liked about what you've seen from him so far?
Well, he's tall. No, just kidding. The good thing about Kenny is that he's a team player. I mean, last year he could have said, well, I'm a backup quarterback and all I play is quarterback, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play quarterback when I get a chance to play quarterback. But he didn't. He was one of our top receivers last year. He got on top of people, and people got to see that he's got wheels and he's got size, and he's a team player. I mean, he would do what we needed to do to go win a game, and that's what he did last year. He was our leading receiver. Now he's our quarterback. So he didn't sit on the shelf and wait for his chance. He made a chance for himself, and he became a team player. What does the team need? And I think he'll continue to do that. You know, we talk about what coaches talk about. You know, move the ball, get first downs gets touchdowns. You know, and he understands that. And, you know, I think that everything that's going offensively is where we expect it to be and would like it, you know, and we expect it to keep improving. But as far as Kenny, I mean, he's a team player, and that's what I need. I don't need a superstar. I don't need all that. I just need a guy that understands that it's a team thing, and we're going to do what makes the team better. And the team wins, we all win. Right, and God forbid we should see someone else play quarterback if he got hurt, but if something happened, who are you looking at as a backup? Jacob Brunson. The big offensive lineman. No, I mean, we have a couple. We have a young guy, Lincoln King, and then we have Devin Sessions, who they battled at quarterback as freshmen and throughout for a while. You know, so it's one of those things. So we have options. All right. Now, the running back position is interesting because you have three experienced running backs. You even had a fourth, I think, was it Jaheim was his name, and he looked pretty good. And Muhammad. Now, and they're all back. Has there any separation taken place as far as who will get a lot of carries, or do you plan to stay very balanced with these running backs? I think it'll be a balanced attack. I mean, first of all, you have to perform in practice. So if you're not performing in practice, that's going to cut your snaps down. The guy that performs in practice is going to get more snaps because that's just the way it works in the world. So then you go with who's having the best game, who's doing what we need to get done. And you know what? The thing about what's going on now, most of our guys play both sides of the ball. They're going to assist. They might not be a full-time player on the other side, but they're definitely assisting on the other side of the ball. And then of course, the three-headed running back monster I'm talking about is Darian Rogers, Los Sierra LaViolette, Jalen Woody. And yes. They all play valuable roles on defense. Receiver-wise, because Colston's moving to quarterback, that's one less receiver there, and then you lose Hamilton and Broyles. So breaking in some new receivers along with Devin Sissons. How's that looking? It's looking really good. I mean, there's some battles going on. There's some guys backing up that's kind of separated themselves, but there are guys attempting or looking to get some shots, opportunities, and that's what it's about, shining your time to shine. We had a guy that he worked offense with Josiah Johnson that'll help us a lot in offense, and he's shown to be a baller. And got a couple sophomores that are playing some unique roles, so we'll see who's going to separate themselves and, who's going to make the read. Kenny Colston. Mm-hmm. Kenny Colston's going to decide who's going to throw the ball to. Yep. He's going to make the right read, and he's going to throw it to the open guy that's going to do the best for the Bombers. So, he's going to see him more in practice than I will. As far as are they running their route like they're supposed to, or they're doing what they need to do to make me successful, because they have to do their job for him to be successful also.
And the offensive line, it looks like it has a chance to be pretty deep for you guys. You have a couple of options of players who were hurt last year. They got to show they're healthy. I know Nathan Bryant and Sampson, but then you return Brunson. We talked about him, Avon Curry, the Jones twins. How's the offensive line looking with all those bodies?
It's looking really good. And you missed Junior Ambrosia.
Oh, yes, Junior.
He started there also. It's a unique group of kids. I mean, you have to return one. To return everyone except one starter from last year makes you feel really good going into it. But, it also comes from the hard work that Coach Dana and Coach Walker puts them through to keep them improving, because you can rest on your laurels like, hey, we're back for another year and we're big and bad. No, we keep improving as a group. And so they're more experienced. They can't say it's just happened before, because what they went through last year, they have the experience. I mean, they played 11 games. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do when they really get to clicking. And it's right now we're figuring holes in. There are a lot of filled spots, but there are a few unfilled spots, and we're waiting to see who's going to step up and take a spot that was open.
And then on the defensive side, I was told you'll switch to a 3-4 defense, and I was wondering if that's because you guys are returning a lot of good linebackers. Darren Rogers, Aiden Brown, Tollison. Just name a couple, and I know I'm missing some names.
You're missing Kewan Landrum, Aiden Brown. He can play some safety or linebacker. So, I mean, we have a Ross Jones. I mean, there's a really good group. I think it just gives us more flexibility.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not that deep in D-line, but we've got a good rotation going, but we have a good amount of linebackers, and it just gives you more flexibility, because I can now move to this without having to pick a big guy's hand up off the ground, because I'm going to keep him in the box most of the time.
Well, the Jones twins and juniors play some nose guard as well?
Correct. Okay. You have Bryant play some defense. I mean, then you have a Grigsby and a Chambray, and you have a Hakeem. So, I mean, right now we have a good rotation working, and we're building depth as a team, and that's what, you're never going to have too much depth. You're never going to hear coach say, man, if I'd have had less depth, we'd have won that game. That's not going to happen. It's going to be more depth's going to step in when you need it.
And the secondary might be maybe the most experienced unit, because, Jalen Woody is one of your safeties. Josiah Johnson, you mentioned him. He mostly was playing safety for you before receiver.
Yep.
Lasir LaViolette, one corner, and then Santana Landon, another. And that was a really good group last year, so I feel that is one of your strengths as far as units go. What do you think?
Well, we're expecting a lot more. Let's get for real. I mean, can't get beat on deep ball. I thought we gave up too many inopportune times on a deep ball at times, just because we lost where we needed to be. And I think with a year of experience on some young guys, that's going to be a lot less. Not saying it won't happen, but I think the guys with experience, and there's a good group behind them. You got a Quaylen Pennon, you got a Keon Hudson, you got a Tyqueek Knighton. So we've got a good group of young guys underneath them that are, and then we forget about a Felix Fuentes. He plays on both sides of the ball, and he's there every day, and he's going to make things happen. So, the good thing about him is we have depth, and guys are pushing guys. Guys work harder in practice if someone behind them can also play the game, and so that holds them accountable. And it's a group. I got a very good group of players, good group of team. That's not a good word. A good group. But they care about each other, they play for each other, and they understand what's at stake. And so you don't hear about a lot of me's. You hear about a lot of let's go do this. Guys encouraging guys instead of downing guys, and then we're going the right direction. So I'm pretty pleased where we are, but if we stop today, I'm going to be very disappointed.
And then you did get a new kicker.
I did get a new kicker.
And I heard he looks pretty good. How would you say?
I'd say he's pretty good. He's
David, for his last name escapes me. I have him in class, actually, at Nova City High School.
So that's a shame you don't know his last name.
I just call him David.
That's what I do, too.
So we apologize, David, but we're looking forward to seeing him kick off and place kick, right? And you're going to have someone else punt?
Right now he's the punter also.
Okay. All right. Let's bring in some of these players here. So who do you got with us for this show?
I got Kenneth Colson, our starting quarterback this year. Played, like I said, played a lot for us last year. And I got Jacob Brunson, 1-year start, 2-year starter, 3-year starter, right?
Yep.
And also good team leaders and good guys.
All right, Kenny, how do you feel like you did in that scrimmage, playing quarterback against another team?
I feel like I did great. It was different going against some, other jerseys other than my teammates in practice, but I feel like I did all right.
And how do you feel like specifically throwing the ball? I mean, that's always what every quarterback wants to do. They want to be able to throw a deep ball every now and then. And how do you feel like your accuracy was?
I feel it was pretty good. I feel confident in it. Pretty good. Deep ball was great. 5 yards, 10 yards. Just got to get it there. It's there.
Do you expect to run about the same as DJ did last year, or do you expect to be more of a pocket quarterback, or what do you think?
I'm going to be more of a pocket quarterback, but, if I had to take off, I'd take off.
Well, we know you can run. We saw you playing wide receiver. We saw you playing baseball, running the base pass. All right, Jacob. So how do you feel about this offensive line unit? Because, it is pretty experienced. They do have bodies.
Yeah.
So, and you're kind of the leader there. What do you think?
Man, I love those guys. We play as a unit. If someone does wrong, we all collectively come as a group and we see what they're doing wrong and we break it down to them. We fix that problem. And, we have a lot of chemistry. It's a good group. I really believe in this group. I believe we can take this team, just take them on our back and let's run the ball.
You had a recent college offer you posted on Twitter. So what can you say about that and what college looks like?
I got an offer from Hendrix College in Conway, Arkansas. It's a little D3, and I'm excited about that. And I'm excited for more to come.
Yeah, hopefully you'll have options. All right, so here's a bit of a fun question for all three of you, and I have a guess to what your answer will be. All right, so we'll start with Coach Hall. Coach Hall, what is your second favorite sport?
Quail hunting.
Hunting. I remember you had a conversation with Tom Carpenter about hunting after I think it was the PC North game.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was what I wrote down. I'll be golf. Kenny, I think I know yours.
Yeah, you do. Baseball.
Baseball?
Yes,
yeah.
Sir.
And I assume you're also going to play baseball again, or okay?
Oh, yeah.
Some players will focus on one sport at some point, but I'm glad you're still going to be a two-sport star. Yeah. And then Jacob, you're pretty good in another sport, right?
Shot put was the most recent one, but I think it's my favorite would have to be powerlifting.
Yes, and you did very well in powerlifting this past year.
Yeah, made it to state. It was pretty cool.
All right, Coach, now you have a scrimmage tomorrow hosting Lawton High. Is anyone else coming?
No, it's just us and Lawton. It's going to be an old-fashioned scrimmage. Looking forward to it.
So when you say old-fashioned, will it be 4 quarters or?
No, we really can't do that in the scrimmage.
Okay.
They're not going to be allowed to do so. Right now, we moved it back an hour, so it'll be at 6 o'clock with Lawton's freshmen against our freshmen. 6:30, our JV versus Lawton JV. We planned on kicking off. Varsity part of the scrimmage about 7:05, 7:10 around there, and we'll run some red zone offense, defense, and then we'll do 2 12-minute halves.
All right, and we'll be practicing some of the Midwest City crew, and then Carl Albert's obviously your first game. Now they'll have a game ahead of you guys.
They'll play Coweta.
Coweta, yes. So are you guys already talking about Carl Albert? I'm asking Jacob and Kenny. Are you talking much about it, or just waiting your turn?
We're going to be about it. That's what we're doing right now. Of course, we have it on our minds, but we can take it 1 week at a time, get better, and lead up to that game.
Yeah, Kenny? Take it one practice at a time, really. They come when they come.
Yep. Well, we'll ask you, Coach, about Carl Albert next week, or whoever we get to talk to. Of course, football coaches, they have big coaching staffs. Do you have any new coaches? Or I know your coordinators are still the same.
Yes. Added on offense, Jamil Owens played from Muskogee, played at OU in Tulsa.
Oh, I remember him.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
And defensively, I think we're about the same as we were. That's on the offensive staff. We moved Coach Mustin from receivers to running backs. A couple guys less. We added a Steve Manila to the freshman staff. So right now we're what we were.
Very good. And we got some food. This is great timing here.
That is perfect.
Bourbon barbecue, hot barbecue.
Thank you.
And we want to thank Crystal for helping
Thank you,
let us be
Crystal.
here and also providing us with some wings. Guys, go ahead and dig in. You have the water there for a reason in case it gets hot.
It's probably going to be on that side.
Anyone want this over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can take it. We want to know what you think. Jacob, you going to get one?
You got to get one. I won't tell Coach.
Get a little. It's protein's what it is. It
is.
Doesn't hurt to have a little bit of protein.
Everybody loves protein.
By the way, Jacob, do you track your protein? Most high school boys would not even think about it, but it is kind of a necessary ingredient if you want to be strong.
I mean, yeah, I do track it. I track pretty much everything I eat. As a lineman, you can eat a little more.
Yeah.
No, I try to keep track of it. Make me a better athlete.
All right, Kenny, are you food conscious, or is it just like just whatever feels good?
I mean, I ain't much as food conscious, but I watch what I put in my body.
Yeah. Coach, what do you think about? I mean, we mentioned now that you have 2 scrimmages. You were kind of the pioneer around here playing week 0 games, but that was going out of state. And now that's what Carl Albert and Dell City are doing, and you're going back to not playing week 0, and that allows you to have 2 scrimmages. Is that more of your liking right now?
Yeah, I mean, as hot as it's been, we've missed some time practicing. So, those guys that are playing this week, they're doing it on less time they would normally have, I guarantee you. I mean, because I've talked to guys that, depending on their wet bulb reading on how much time they got out there. So, yes, it was it was enjoyable, but it works better for us right now on what we're doing. And then, our next year's schedule, we'll have a 0-week game. We'll go back to 0. We'll go back to 0 and be off week 3.
Okay, back to what you did. I know you. I guess next year the plan is for you to be in a district with once again Dell City.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been in there with them before, but it was a different circumstance because in 6A2 there were only 2 districts.
That had to be regional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so now we got 4 districts, and so we're in the district, and it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I think all 3 of us could win a district if in a separate district.
Right.
But that's not my decision. So our job is to go win our district.
Yeah, and a lot of the same opponents. Lawton MacArthur,
Elgin,
yeah.
Duncan, Altus. Ardmore's out. Noble's out.
And
pick up Western Heights Southeast.
Yeah. And what do you think about the district this year? So Elgin was the tough opponent last year, and it looks like they're going to be the one returning the most. What do you expect as far as the challenges go? A lot of schools are kind of, I guess it'll come down to, a lot of schools had good quarterbacks last year. They were seniors. Noble and Ardmore did. Who will have the new quarterback that's good?
Well, we'll find that out. I mean, and they were the toughest, but it was a tough district throughout. I mean, El Reno gave us, they ended up coming out and had a nice season, and then, Mac had some injuries late that kind of slowed them down. But, I heard they had a really good team camp. They had a good scrimmage over there at Carl Albert last week. So, our job's not to take anybody for granted, and our job's to win district again.
All right. Guys, is there a particular opponent you're looking most forward to here, or is it still just game by game?
Game by game, week 1.
Okay. Well, week 1 will be Carl Albert. We want to let you guys know, again, they're hosting a scrimmage tomorrow against Lawton High. I know it's going to be hot, but, we encourage you to come brave the heat and go see what the Bombers are doing.
Definitely.
Against Lawton High. That's, that was a traditional rival for a long time, and now it's they're scrimmage buddies. And so we look forward to that, and as they get a little bit of kinks out from the previous scrimmage, and then it'll be game time, and every Midwest City Bomber football game will be on the Oklahoma Sports Network starting in 9 days when they host Carl Albert. It'll be the first time in a while I think you played a season opener at home, so I don't know when the last time was for that, but that's what you'll get to do this time.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I mean, we're looking to open the season up. We want to continue to improve, and we look forward to improving off of tomorrow's scrimmage and then getting ready for the Carl Albert Titans.
All right. And so we want to also thank the Midwest City sponsors for Midwest City Bomber football on the Oklahoma Sports Network. And we actually have All-American Grill over on Air Depot. They'll be sponsoring a couple of games. And we want to thank Intertwined Ministries, led by Midwest City graduates Scott and Alicia Young. They will be our coin toss sponsor. We want to thank Louis for being our Red Zone sponsor Our kickoff sponsor is Red Plains Plumbing. We really appreciate them because they're sponsoring all 3 schools, plus we're running their commercials. And Triple Elite will once again be an instant replay sponsor. La Herencia Grill, great Mexican food, will be our halftime sponsor. And Buffalo Wild Wings, this place, we really appreciate them in so many ways. They will be one of the quarter sponsors, as well as Toonie Buys Houses. And then our post-game sponsor will be Patrick Newby Insurance. And we still have some sponsorships left, so if you have any interest in sponsoring Midwest City Football and the Oklahoma Sports Network, getting your name out there, please contact us through our website. All right, Coach Hall, Kenny, Jacob, thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach Ray.
We want you to come back, and we want to do this a lot with you guys this fall, so we really appreciate you coming on for this first time.
We'll look forward to it.
Carl Albert's coming up. You are watching the Mid-Del Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
Down!
And welcome back to the Mid-Dale Coaches Show here at Buffalo Wild Wings. My name's Jordan Ray. Great to be with you. Let's talk again about where we're at. We really appreciate Buffalo Wild Wings for hosting a Coaches Show this fall. It's really a big deal, and some things going on right here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Del City off of Tinker Diagonal. Every Tuesday you have your choice of a BOGO. That means buy one, get one. You have the traditional wings, 50% off, buy one, get one for 50% off. And then boneless wings, buy one, get one free. That's every Tuesday. Thursdays is also boneless, buy one, get one free. So be sure you come here on a Thursday if you love boneless wild wings, or on Tuesday. Both would work. And they're going to bring back, as they will reintroduce Bullet Bourbon Barbecue and the return of hot barbecue sauce and sauce. And also, come celebrate the year of the sauce with Buffalo Wild Wings in Del City. And then we also want to thank Keyline Productions for being with us and being another sponsor. Keyline Productions, we're really excited to have them on. Lakita Kearney, we thank her very much, as they do a lot of different things with their company. And get to be joined right now by Carl Albert head coach Mike Dunn, the defending 5A champs. All right, Coach, that's what you've been for the last several months. What does it mean to you to be you're used to it as a player and an assistant coach, but now a head coach. What does it mean to be called the defending 5A champs?
No, for us, I don't think anything's really changed. I always refer to a guy that coached me back in the day, Coach Rollins. Tex Rollins is a legend around Carl Albert, and his famous saying, and he said it after every state championship that we won, right there when we were all huddled up doing that last little talk, he said, nothing's changed. And so for us, we're doing nothing different than we did a year ago and that we did 20 years ago. So, it's just we feel like a target's on our back, and we try to make sure that we don't take it lightly and go prepare like you want to go win a football game and be 1-0 every week. So that's kind of our mindset.
Now, you've had an eventful offseason. For me, it started when it was announced that your quarterback last year was going to be a preferred walk-on at OU. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, his name is Reed DeQuazy.
Reed DeQuazy.
Sorry,
yep.
Reed. And I was like, well, he could do a lot of things for OU because he's such a good athlete. And then in June, Xavier Robinson commits to OU.
Yep.
And I guess he's the first Carl Albert player to commit to OU on scholarship since one of your old teammates, J.D. Reynolds.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's kind of interesting that there's a 20-year gap. But then you get another OU commit moving from Texas, and Kevin Sperry, and he was a highly regarded quarterback in Texas as a junior.
Yep.
And then I think around that time, James moved in for Bishop McGuinness.
Yep.
And I apologize, I forgot his first name.
Marcus James.
Marcus James, yep. And then also you had two skill players, Tristan Haynes and Trinae Washington picked up offers from OU. I think Tristan Haynes got offered by Alabama. So a lot of momentum there. And I guess the question is, what was that like to just see all that stuff develop over an off season?
Yeah, well, it's fun. As a coach, when you get to see your kids get rewarded with those kind of things, those are life-changing things that happen for those kids, And so anytime these guys get any kind of offers or get any kind of chances to go do something at the next level and get their school paid for doing it, that's really exciting for us. These kids work. Every one of those kids that you named, they're all workers. They do everything that the other guys do. They definitely deserve that stuff that's come their way. And so, in our locker room, these guys, they all celebrate each other, and that's also one of the things that's really, really fun to watch. It's almost a let's see who's next type mentality when it comes to even that stuff. These guys, they celebrate each other's successes, and we always like to say the same thing over and over and over is that stuff is it's made possible by having team success, and so we try to keep that the main focus with all of that. But every one of those guys very deserving.
All right, that was a lot for me to say, and I apologize, I forgot a couple names on the fly there.
That's all right.
I got to ask you the big question here, because your first game's in 2 days. Who are we going to go with to start at quarterback, Cash or Kevin?
Well, I think that you could see both of them, but Kevin is going to get the first go at it. So that's the plan right now. But I think there'll be a lot that goes on with all that. So.
Yeah, well, we don't want to leave out Cash Ferris because he would be a good starting option for anybody.
Right.
And, of course, he's a Division I pitcher, so we know he's got an arm.
Yeah,
And
and
so-
Cash can do a lot of different things too for us as well. So he was working a couple other positions today, and he's going to do what he needs to do to help the team, and he's going to stay ready for sure. We're excited about both those guys.
So do you treat non-district games a little different? You might use it somewhat as an audition for your quarterbacks, or
Nah, not really. I mean, we're going into it with the mindset it's week at a time, and this is the first week, and we really haven't thought about it like that at all. So no.
Same question about non-district games because they don't determine seeding when it comes to your running back, Big X. Do you want to make sure he's healthy first, I imagine, for these games before you just give him the ball a lot? Or, I mean, how – because, I mean, he had a big coming out party against Midwest City last year getting the ball a lot. So does that affect how you use him?
Every game's as meaningful as the next one, and so we treat them all the same. Last year when we played in the Coweta game, I think Xavier was playing a lot on the defensive side of the ball as well. In that game, I think we got a little bit gassed, and he wasn't able to do what we saw later on down the road because we were doing so much, And so once we started saying, hey, we're going to focus on offensive side of the ball, I think that's when you started seeing some of those, like that next week saw a big breakout game there. So
now, do you have another couple guys you might want to run the ball with besides Xavier, even though he's obviously going to be your workhorse?
Yeah. We've got a pretty good stable there at running back. Caden Davis is a guy that he could be a number one at running back for a lot of different teams in Oklahoma, and he's more than capable. Runs the ball hard. He's fast. He's strong. I mean, he's got a lot of good qualities. Really sees the field well too. DeAndre Dukes is a young guy, junior that we like. We've got a freshman that's starting to get some reps back there too, and really excited about him. Elijah Matthews is going to be a good one, and so. Yeah, we've got a stable that we feel pretty good about back there.
All right, so we'll ask you right now about some of these juniors that could get a lot of attention, and we'll focus on other players, of course, now and throughout the season. But we're going to start with Tristan Haynes. So he not only was offered by OU, but Alabama as well, and I believe as a cornerback. But he's been in the system for a while. I think he was playing as a freshman for you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a little bit.
And what makes him such a good player, and do you expect to use him a lot on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, so last year he started every game at both corner and wide receiver for us, but I think his consistency is something that we all really like. Tristan is the same guy day in, day out. He's never too high, he's never too low. He's very even kill, but when he's on the field, he's a go-getter. I mean, he practices hard. He plays hard. He works out hard. I mean, everything on that side, it's everything that you would want from a player, from a student athlete. And he's an exceptional talent as well. I mean, he's got speed. He's got length. He's long. His arms. I mean, he's what, teams like Alabama and OU, they see a guy like that, and they see a guy that can go match up against taller, longer receivers. And that's something I think they really like is, Tristan's every bit of 6'2", probably closer to 6'3" at this point, and he's 175 pounds, 170 pounds, and he's a track kid. He can run. He's a dude. And last year he played a lot of wide receiver. This year I think he'll have a breakout year on that side as well.
And then we got Trinae Washington, who's listed recruiting-wise as an athlete.
Yeah.
So is he also a receiver, cornerback?
So he's a receiver. And he's a big corner. He could do a lot of different things, and they put him down as an athlete, I think, just because, not sure what Trinae's going to look like in the next couple of years. I mean, he's already 215 pounds and 6'4", and he's a big, long, and he's muscled up, just a good-looking frame on him. So he could be a number of different positions on defense. He could be a safety at the next level. He could be a nickel linebacker, a hybrid-type down safety-type kid. But he's got great hands, unbelievable. He's a really good route runner. He's a great blocker. He's got exceptional talent as well. But he's, again, another one that's consistent. He's a hard worker. He's a guy in the weight room. He's a guy that we can count on. And I think we try to tell the truth always to college coaches. And he's a guy that's very easy to say, you're going to know what you're going to get with him. He's going to be a consistent guy.
So Tristan and Trinae, I would call them try one and try two, but
Yeah.
that's a silly broadcasting play. I know Kirk Norman will do something a little different.
Right.
But do they play against each other a lot in practice?
Yeah. Oh,
That
yeah.
has
yeah,
to be
yeah.
a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, we do. We like to compete in practice. They do one-on-ones against each other. They'll do stuff. Today we were working some stuff, and they worked against each other. And yeah, I mean, all of our guys, we try to do as much as we can with good on good, and ones versus ones when we can. And it's the only way you're going to get better. So.
And then Marcus James, I do remember when he was with Bishop McGuinness, there's a game on the Oklahoma Sports Network, a basketball game at Dell City in early January, and he played center for Bishop McGuinness, and I remember thinking what a tremendous athlete this guy was. And then on the football field, looks like he's going to play tight end, and what else can he do on defense?
Yeah, he's an outside linebacker. He plays will for us, and he does a great job over there. He's a motor guy. He's figuring it all out, and he's a high speed guy on the football field. He likes to work. I can say right now with Marcus and this guy next to me over there on the defensive side, that those two have done a really good job of being upbeat and leading us. It's been a week where we've had some Titan weather, and there's some elements that we've had to fight through, and those two guys, even today at the end of the practice when it's 5:15 and guys are gassed, both of those guys are still leading. Both those guys are being vocal. Both those guys are talking about give everything you got, don't leave anything in the tank, and it's Wednesday practice, and that's the kind of guys that you want. So yeah, Marcus, he's offensively, he's got great hands. He's got great skill over there. He's also a great blocker, but he's a motor guy. I think that's what the best thing that you can say about a kid, and that's why these two guys are here today with me. They're both motor guys, and he's definitely one of those.
Got some good options for Kevin to throw to there with those three and others, I'm sure.
Yep.
Offensive line, obviously, they have to do their job for everything else to be successful.
Yep.
And I know you're high on this group because you got 4 returning starters.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about this group compared to other teams you coached?
Yeah, well, anytime that you've got that kind of experience, it makes you can get a little more creative and you can do some more things. You don't have to slow down and start from day one all over again, which we do. We start from the basics, and these guys work fundamentals every single day with Coach Madden, Coach Looney, and Coach Copeland. But it's a really, really good group. Every one of them smart, they're consistent, they're hard workers, and 3 of them at least are 3-year starters. I mean, Brock Johnson's a 3-year starter. Easton Collier's a 3-year starter. Tanner Norman's a 3-year starter. Even Trayton Holland, our center, when he was a sophomore, he started a few games as a sophomore, I believe, at right tackle. So just lots of experience there. That's stuff that you can't beat. And, they show up every day with a worker's attitude. They show up ready to go. They really do a great job of pacing our offense. And, they know that they're not going to be the ones that they're going to be writing about in the papers, and they're kind of the unsung heroes. And I think our skill players know that about them too, and there's a lot of trust there.
Defensively, front 7, I think you mentioned Caden Davis before on offense, and he was a big sack guy for you.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned James is one of your linebackers, but how's the rest of the front 7 look?
Yeah, well, got some starters back on that side as well. Caden Davis had 21 sacks last year. I think he led the state. Had a monster year as a sophomore, and I know I sound like a broken record, but these guys would agree with me. He's another one he's a motor guy. You know what you're going to get day in, day out with him. He's going to work, and he's very passionate about what he does. And then Brock Johnson on the other side. Brock's a 3-year starter at defensive end. A lot of consistency is there as well with Brock being, he's our one right now, our one offensive lineman I think or lineman that will start both ways right now. And then A.J. Mason played a lot of, started for us last year at defensive tackle, and A.J.'s done a great job of growing up this offseason. He got stronger in the weight room, and he's looked really good so far in these first few weeks. Emerson Williams is another guy at defensive tackle that he started 5 or 6 games for us last year, and he's back, and Emerson's had a great camp so far. And then, our linebackers, we feel really good about our linebacker group right now with Easton Harless here. Easton's a 3-year starter. and he's bounced around for us. He's played every position. He's kind of settling into the same position right now, but he can move to Mike real easy. He can move to Will if he needed to. And then we talked about Marcus. Marcus is at the Will linebacker. Some other guys we're excited about. Caden Longstreet, he started 3 or 4 games for us last year, and he's playing some Mike linebacker for us, doing a really good job of leading the defense and picking it up out there. Jackson Vineyard's a guy playing Sam linebacker for us. Carl Vion Young's a guy playing linebacker for us. So we've got Cooper Brackage. Cooper Brackage was a sophomore last year, junior now, and he's done a really good job of putting himself in a place to be a guy that's out there on the field making big plays for us. So we feel good about the front right now. It's a good group, good crew coming back, and a bunch of young guys coming up that we feel really good about.
So you have Tristan and Trinae in the secondary. Anyone else want to mention with the secondary?
Yeah. So Tristan and Trinae, they kind of they set the tone back there in the back end for us, being returning starters there. And then some other guys. We got some. We're fairly young in the back end. Byron Stubbs is a guy that had a great off season, had a great track season. He's a speed guy. He's doing a great job both sides of the ball for us. Todd James, who is Xavier Robinson's little brother. Todd's done a really good job of continuing to get better every single day. And Jakari Carter. Jakari started a lot of games for us last year, and Jakari is playing strong safety for us and doing a really good job there. And so there's a lot of competition. DeAndre Dukes, I mentioned him at running back. He's one of our other corners, DBs, and there's Christian Oku. That everybody knows that name if you're familiar with Carl Albert and Christian. He fits that Oku mold, and he started football a little bit later than his uncle and his dad did, but he's really coming around and has had a strong off season and strong track season, and he's a guy that's putting himself in a spot to be successful.
All right, let's talk about who you brought with you as far as a couple of your key players.
Yeah. So talked a little bit about him just now, but next to me here is Easton Collier. Easton he's a 3-year starter. He started at guard every year for us now, and Easton has continued to get better and better and better and better. And couldn't be any more proud of him and what he's done, and he's paced us up front. He's probably been the guy since his sophomore year that's been, he's been a consistent starter at that position. And so Easton's another guy that I could say all the same things I said about those other guys. He's a workhorse. He plays with great passion. He plays with intensity. He's tough. I don't think he's ever missed a practice probably in 3 years, and so that's those are the kind of guys that you go win with. You got to have big time program guys, and Easton Collier is the epitome of a program guy. So right guard, plays a little bit of defensive tackle for us, but he's mainly offensive lineman. Easton Harless over here on this side. Easton, like I said, is a 3-year starter as well. Easton has led our defense. Even as a sophomore, he was a guy that Coach Herbert could count on, making calls, making checks, making adjustments. Again, just another epitome of a program guy. He's a guy he's had to fight through injuries at times, and he's always come back stronger and better. He's a guy that we know that day in, day out, he's going to go out and he's going to be the same guy. He's going to practice with the same intensity that he plays with. He's going to hold himself accountable. He's going to be hard on himself at times, and because he wants to be the guy, and he wants to go win a state championship, and I know he doesn't want to lose that thing on his watch. That's the same thing with both these guys. So just two big time human beings right here next to me. Guys that we really love and love having in our program, and guys that we've won a lot of football games with because of their consistency and what they bring to the table every day.
By the way, I want to say that I have a nephew named Easton. He was born Veterans Day last year, so I'm hearing that name more and more.
Yeah.
All right, Easton Collier. Okay,
yes, sir.
We'll talk about you first. Interestingly, we know your dad. He's the Middale Athletic Director, so Coach, I don't know if that's ever probably never weird, but still kind of interesting that, your boss is his son, you're coaching his son, but obviously no problems there. But your dad played quarterback for Midwest City back in the day, so how did you get to become an offensive lineman?
Well, I'm built a little different than he was back in the day.
Yeah.
He was more skinny, got the length on him, but he could throw a ball a lot better than I can. I'm not quarterback material.
No, but what do you like about playing offensive line?
You know, I like using your strength, using your smarts, anything just to beat your opponent. If you know what you're going to do, it just comes down to the will.
Yeah. And Easton Harless, same question to you. What do you like about playing offensive line?
I do not play offensive
line.
I'm sorry.
What,
I'm a linebacker.
my bad.
I just like scheming against other teams. That's honestly my favorite part. Just seeing what type of offenses they run and different types of skill sets that other teams have. Just scheming against that.
Now, Easton Harless, I gotta say your guys' last name, obviously. You're playing catcher too for the baseball team, right? And then you missed the last part of the season, unfortunately, because you were injured. How are you healed from that injury now?
I'm doing really good now. Had a lower back injury, but lots of therapy and just working through that. I'm feeling good now.
All right, and then back to Easton Call. You're here. How do you feel about this offensive line unit compared to years past?
I mean, I think it's a pretty strong unit. We're all really close friends, hang out all the time, and we're all know what to do. We've been doing it for 3 years. We even have another guy, left guard, Easton Perkins. He fits in the program perfectly.
That's what I was thinking of, by the way, when I guessed he was an offensive lineman, Easton Perkins.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a fun question for all three of you. What is your second favorite sport? Coach Stone, I'll start with you.
My second favorite sport. That's hard. It's been football. I don't really, it's funny. I don't watch a whole lot of sports outside of. I tell people all the time. I only get emotionally involved with one team. It's the team that I coach, and so second favorite sport. I don't know. I guess I go watch a lot of sports, and so as an athletic director, I really love wrestling. I like what that brings, the mentality that brings. When we have kids that go wrestle, I love when they come back from it because there's a lot of things that you have to be a wrestler, and one of them is psychotic. And so sometimes those guys, when you like those guys, a bunch of tough guys, but wrestling and probably baseball, I would say, or
that would have been my guess.
Yeah, those are probably my favorite. That when I played when I was in high school, I played baseball as my second sport, and so I would say that probably.
Easton Harless, I guess it's more of an interesting question for you is it football or baseball? I guess you have to say football, right?
Football for sure. Baseball is my second favorite.
Yeah.
I just grew up playing baseball. I've been playing that since 3 years old. So that's always going to stick around with me for sure.
And you're a catcher, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, you guys will have a good team coming back for baseball too.
Yes, sir. We will.
Easton Collier, what about your second favorite sport?
I mean, I could say track. I'm a thrower, shot put, but there's nothing better than some golf on the weekends. I love golfing.
All right. Well, I would imagine there's a lot of football coaches like to golf too. So, where do you like to go? Didn't you play with your dad?
Yes, I play with my dad. I like to go to Choctaw Creek, Hidden Creek. Those are the usual ones I go to.
All right, and let's talk about Coweta in 2 days. Does it even matter that you fell short against them last year? Do you even talk about that, or does that? I mean, do you even play up the revenge factor?
No, it's the same every week for us, but we'd be lying if we said that we haven't mentioned the score to that game last year. That's something we talked a lot about last year too. We always thought that was going to be a game that we would have a chance to maybe to go get another shot at it, and it just didn't happen in the playoffs. But it's definitely something that we've talked about before, but it doesn't. I don't think it really changes the way that we do things. I think our guys, what I've seen over the last few years is our guys prepare the same no matter what. You don't want to have letdowns against teams that some people say they're not as good on paper or whatever. But you try to always avoid that, and so there's a little bit of that, but. Coweta's they're a really strong football team. They've got a lot of good players that are back from last year, and they've got a quarterback that's moved in that's a really good player, and they're well coached. Coach Harper does a great job with that group. They're always tough. They're blue collar guys. They're going to be ready to go. So it doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter to try to beat that in every single day. Those guys are going to be ready to roll. So we got to prepare and be ready to roll like we are every week.
Well, you had a tough playoff game with them 2 years ago, too.
Yeah.
That was a tough battle.
For sure.
Either Easton, what do you think? Coweta in a couple days. What are your thoughts?
Like Coach Dunn said, we just try to treat every game like it's the same team. We're same team, every week we just try to treat it the same, basically.
It's just another week for us. get to work, get better, but I think we'll all remember that 44-14 score. Use it as motivation to push us through this week.
It is very un-Carl Albert-like, for sure. Coach Dunn, when we think about these Week 0 games now, it's the second time you're doing this.
Yeah.
Do you like doing that? And I know you're not going to always be able to have a bye week late in the season, though.
Right.
But they'll only need to be in weeks 1, 2, or 3. But what do you like about playing so early?
Well, so for us, we don't have a choice. So because we're with Guyman being in our district, we have to play the 4 non-districts, and it actually worked out like that again for 24 and 25. Right now our bye week is week 9, so we go. So we play at our district schedule. We go Bishop McGuinness, Guthrie, bye week, then Piedmont. So we, got the 3 playoff teams other than us. We play them right there at the very end, and then 24-25 when we drew our district numbers and did all that about a week ago, and we actually got the week 10 bye. So next year we'll go 24-25. We'll go 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll get a Week 10 bye right before the playoffs. So, for me, it makes you prepare a lot quicker. It makes you do things a lot sooner. Like you're this week you're still putting stuff in that normally you're putting in for a second scrimmage, but you're actually putting stuff in for a game, one that actually counts. And so, I think it makes you turn your urgency up a little bit, and it makes you plan a little bit better as far as we got to have this stuff in, and we can't. You can't overlook stuff. I mean, you've got to have stuff in, and so that's really all it is. I mean, and it's good that we start out with a really quality opponent and have a really tough game right off the bat.
I didn't realize. So you're in another 7-team district starting in 24 and 25. Wow.
Yep.
All right. Well, last question. I know you had at least fill one coaching position. Coach Bradshaw went to Newcastle, but usually there's 2 or 3. Changes in the coaching staff because there's so many football coaches. So there were some new coaches for Carl Albert this year.
So that was it. Coach Bradshaw was the only one that left us, and he and I talked today, and he's doing a great job out there at Newcastle. I'm excited for him and excited to see what he can do with his own defense. He's running the show on the defensive side of the ball, and Newcastle is a up and coming team with Coach Brickman. They're doing a really good job. I think he's going to do a good job. So. But Coach Paul Evans, we replaced Coach Bradshaw with Paul Evans. Paul is a guy that's coached at a lot of really good programs and been around a while, and so he's a 20-year vet at least. We're excited about his energy, his knowledge, and what he's going to bring to the table.
All right. Well, we just got some Buffalo Wild Wings at our table. I can smell them, guys. Go ahead and dig in. We need to know what you think.
Get you some, big boys.
I mean, Easton, I talked to Jacob Brunson from Midwest City about eating, tracking your protein. Is that something you think about?
Yeah, I try to get as much protein in as possible, especially before practice, these long, hot days. So I just try to get as much as I can.
All right. Is chicken wings on your menu usually?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you better dig in. All right. Easton, Harless, what do you think? You took the first bite?
It's pretty good. Got a nice tang.
All right. Coach Dunn, you want one there?
I'm going to lay off.
Okay.
I'm going to lay off.
Very disciplined there.
I'm trying to be.
Yes.
I'm trying to be.
All right. Well, does this hope this makes you guys want to come back at some point here? And Coach Dunn, I know it's tough to be here on a Wednesday, so I really appreciate you being here.
It's awesome, and I really appreciate Buffalo Wild Wings for doing this for us. This is really cool. If people can come out on Wednesdays and get to see a little bit from everybody from Carl Albert, Midwest City, Del City, get to see 3 quality teams and quality coaches and quality kids. I mean, and then the specials and everything they have going on here. It's way cool how they support us and support Mid-Del. So really appreciative of Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's right. We do appreciate Buffalo Wild Wings for hosting the Mid-Del Coaches Show this fall, maybe into the next semester. We've got to see how it goes right now. So we want to again thank Carl Albert's Coach Mike Dunn for being there, and along with the Eastons, Easton Collier, Easton Harless. We also want to thank the Carl Albert sponsors on the Oklahoma Sports Network for this year. Of course, every Carl Albert football game will be on the Oklahoma Sports Network regular season and playoffs. That's usually 14 games, but we'll see. And we get the sponsors going for every game. Kirk Norman, of course, will be bringing you the action as he's done for the previous 4 years, so we're happy he's back doing that. And for this game coming up Friday against Coweta, kickoff at 7, pregame at 6:30. Mike Goff, of course, Coach Goff will also be joining him in the booth for his second year. And we want to thank these sponsors for, you'll see them during the game, for Carl Albert. Buffalo Wild Wings, the Countdown to Kickoff sponsor, so we can't thank them enough for that as well. Coin toss sponsor is the Surf Bar in Midwest City. They got some really good smoothies. Starting lineups is Dynamic Health Clinic up in Harrah, but one of the best chiropractors around, and they do some other things for you besides chiropractor work. So please consider Dynamic Health Clinic if you are looking for a massage or something like that. And La Herencia Grill, sorry, that's the wrong one. Instant replay sponsor, Triple Elite will be the replay sponsor this year. Kickoff sponsor, Red Plains Plumbing. We very much appreciate them. Scoring recap, CK12 Designs will be new this year. We appreciate them being with us. Sovereign Bank will be the Red Zone sponsor. And one of our favorite Carl Albert sponsors is back this year, Super Subs. They will be the halftime sponsor. Of course, we have the quarter sponsors. They got filled up pretty quickly. We appreciate all of them. Ben Osinga Insurance, Toonie Buys Houses, Bobby Lewis Insurance, and then a Carl Albert grad here, J.R. Rowlett Realty. So
J.R. Roulette, that was my
sorry.
That was my teammate. We graduated together. We played on the offensive line together. He's a good one.
All right, we appreciate J.R. for being a quarter sponsor this year for Carl Albert football. All right, that'll do it for our first Mid-Del Coaches Show. Again, Del City will be playing Choctaw this Friday night at 6:30 will be when the broadcast begins. Carl Albert will be defending their state title. They'll begin their defense of that against Coweta this Thursday as well. I want to thank Keyline Productions once again and Buffalo Wild Wings for making this show possible. Once again, you have been watching the Mid-Del Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.